Hello again, this is Jake here at DreamWorks Studios, and today I'd like to give you a little bit of advice about part 3 of your speaking test. Because in part 3, things always get more difficult than expected, and that's a good thing. The examiner is trying to stretch your English and to really push you to the limit of your English ability. So the questions get longer, the words get bigger, the ideas get more abstract. So don't worry about this at all, because it's not about being an expert in the subject. It's all about English. So do your best with the English you have to answer the questions that you get, because the questions you get will probably be almost maybe too difficult in your own language. In Chinese, you might not be able to answer these questions. So you've got to use the English you have to answer these questions that might be already too difficult. So don't worry about that. Expect that and almost be happy about that. Okay? So don't worry when the question is too difficult. You must answer the question. 3 or 4 sentences is really the right length of answer. I would always suggest that you can kind of simply give one idea, not 2 or 3 or 5. One idea is fine. Explain the idea, maybe give an example, and then maybe explain the idea again. So you paraphrase your original idea, which is really good practice. Again, it's not about being comprehensive, about an expert in general knowledge. Those things are not important in the IELTS test. We're talking about English and English alone. So making sense of your answer is the thing, and creating an answer that always provides an answer. So you can say things like, I really don't know about this question. I've never thought about it before. And when you don't have much to say, again, start speaking. I really don't know what to say. It's a really difficult question to have to answer. Or let me think for a second, because I've never thought about this before. It's even difficult in my own language, to be honest. So you can start off with this kind of answer, where you're not actually answering the question, but you're saying something of importance. It's an important thing to answer immediately because there's no hesitation, and you provide an answer that may not answer the question. It's just providing words that are different than before, that are providing a start of an answer, and then gets you to the point where you may be able to provide some answer when you start thinking about it a little more. Don't be afraid to ask the meaning of a word in part 3. That can be really helpful, because in part 3 you might have one word in the question that you've never heard before, or you just don't know the meaning. So you can ask the examiner, I'm sorry, what does ubiquitous mean? And you'll get the answer, and that might be able to fill in the rest of the idea of the question, because it's ubiquitous, seen everywhere, or it's everywhere. Oh, everywhere. Oh, that makes sense. That fits with this. Now I can answer the question. So don't be afraid to answer the question. It does not pull your score down. It does not pull your score down. So don't be afraid to ask a question in response to a question. If you don't know a word, ask what does that word mean? And you must say the word, or try and say the word. So that's a really good way to help you. Obviously, the examiner knows that you're in a test and you want to finish, and you might feel that I just want to finish quickly. Slow it down, wait for the time, and give 3 or 4 sentences for every answer if you can. Okay, so part 3 is a time when you need to be showing willing to speak about topics. You need to show a variety of structures. So you're going to be asked perhaps about the future, how it compares to the present, how the present compares to the past, how maybe you might have a hypothetical. What if this happens? What would you do if this happens? You might have all these different styles of structural sentences that the examiner wants to try and to see if you can deal with these different structures. And that's your skill in part 3. If you can provide the right structure that you're being asked, if you can provide the right answer for that structure, that's the way to do it. Okay, so hopefully that's helped you a little bit in your part 3 preparation. Remember, the right answer is not always the best answer. The best answer is you're using your English to your best ability that you have. So you're providing the English that you know relates to the topic, does the job of answering the question with 3 or 4 sentences, but it may not provide a professional answer when it comes to that question, and that does not matter. Okay? So good luck with your test and hope to see you in class.